Hello PvPers, welcome to a tutorial on how to Macro Soup 101. In this tutorial, I will teach you how to Macro Soup utilizing various simulations that I've collected. To run a Bukkit server, you have to download all the Bukkit plugins and place them in the plugins folder, as you can see right now. To execute the Bukkit server, you need to find the start execute file. Double click on it and you will access the DOS window command box. Now the name of the server plugin is called Craft Bukkit. You can find it on the wiki page to download it. While the world is loading and buffering, you can also check out and activate the Minecraft normal game while the server plugin is being activated. Now let's figure out how to download the macro plugin, the first one. At first is a disclaimer. If we click on the disclaimer on the website provided on the YouTube link below, I will discuss that in the disclaimer of what the various types of macro autosoups there are. In this, I also explain why I'm not liable if you get caught and might get resulting in a ban. Now, if we click the next link, which should be the Gen Y Autosoup, I'll explain the first type of macro souping. Now, first you must download the link. The link provided below will load into a media file. Click on it to download. Now we download the file to desktop, and then we go to the folder where the macro is. In here we got a file prepared earlier, and we extract the file from the zip file that you download, and you get all these text files. One of the text files contains instructions of the installation. Now copy the first one to download AutoHotkey, which is the third-party macro software thing. Download it, put it onto desktop, and install it. For the next part, we'll go into the macro properties in order to learn how to compile and execute the macro and see if it's activated. First, double click on the macro file. Go into the simple macro that I've compiled. Right click on it and you edit script. When you edit script, your normal text editor will view the programming code. The top part includes the title and disclaimer. On the following property is actual code. Now we close that and we right click again. Now to run a script, you can also either double click it or run script. Or you can compile it and you'll create an execute of the same function. As you double click it, notice that it's now minimized in your taskbar. So then let's reactivate the macro, and then let's go back to the game, click on it, and let's see if the server is loaded. The server is loaded, so we can now double click. I've noticed that I've slowed down the frame rate on the gameplay right now. This is to ensure that you get to see every detail. We go to full screen, and we wait for the long time for the loading. Logging in, and notice that we've logged into my server world. It's Mushroom Island to prevent hostile mobs from spawning. Now, if we go to the E menu and press E. Now there are various types of soups that you can make. The first type is the vanilla recipe. This makes the normal mushroom stew. This is the one that you most likely use throughout the most normal games. The second recipe that we use is using bowls and also cocoa beans. This makes chocolate milk. Now the third option is the normal types of Minecraft PvP is cactus, which makes cactus juice. This one is a little bit more rare and generally takes a longer time to make. Okay, now it's time to test Macro Autosoup against some spiders. As we attack one, notice that we do get some body damage. We attack another, goes on top of us, and we get even more. We activate the Autosoup trigger right now. Throw away unnecessaries, get back to bold, and refill using shift click. Notice that when we get attacked, we get pummeled quite badly, and that's the perfect time to Autosoup. You probably don't want to run away. So first we attack, kill, and that should be done. Try to run, jump from behind, and attack. Autosoup and start attacking him. Like mad. Especially on this macro soup. Jam the keys if necessary. For our next part, we're going to use the macro soup using, again, some skeletons. Arrow shots. Staying away for a second. Oh, still hitting me. Recharging. We charge. And notice the arrows keeps pushing you back. You probably want to heal with some Autosoup. Notice the arrow shots in the back of my head. Refill. You probably want to charge them from an angle from running jump. Go to the sides, preferably, and start using the attack button. Grab the arrow, and voila. Let's try this again with more skeletons. We'll use some skeletons' eggs in this confined place because the sunlight will do this job and you don't want the skeletons to die. Spawn them. And notice the whacking of the arrows. Recharging. And attack. Go to the side using the previous strategy I taught you. Autosouping if necessary. Triggering that cursor. Perform some critical hits. Destroy one at a time. Concentrate your fire on one skeleton. And attack another one. And done. Next, for the next part of simulation, we're going to go against creepers. As we spawn one, notice that we always try to veer off. You don't necessarily need to activate the Autosoup for one, because 2 consecutive hits with presence will auto-trigger the explosion of the creeper. Now let's move again, and let's try against 4 creepers. Now it's important to note that against 4 creepers, when spawned at a very close proximity, they will auto-trigger and kill themselves. At which point, assuming that you're not in hardcore mode, 4 creepers shouldn't kill you so long as you're spamming the Autosoup key. So you spawn all them, and start whacking them with your sword while Autosoup. Massive explosion. Still alive. Grab the points. And voila. And now we're going against a mass amount of skeletons, which could spawn a gigantic amount of nourished opponents very far away. We're not going to get much damage because of the knockback effect. We recharge, and we attack them as before, one at a time. Notice that you might want to do the block attack technique. Using both the attack button and the block button, you can perform a possible cursor. Go there, and recharge. More soup. Charge them at one at a time. Remember, it's more important to heal than unnecessary attacks, so always be wise and attack from an angle. start spamming that button. Preferably aim for the sides after recharging. Click back to the side again. Try to go back to the rear side. Stop blocking and do anything. Oh, swooping time again. And dead. Collect the points. And you survived. Now let's try again the simulation using one zombie. The zombie is the general aggressive mob. Notice how they always attack you. The greatest thing about zombies is that few critical hits and they should be dead. Put away the rotten flesh. Recharge. We don't need that much zombie eggs to spawn in this simulation. Refill again. And it's roughly free. Notice that the linear path that they take would be recharged, start whacking away, and that you die pretty much very quickly. Burning light helps, of course. And all dead. Now we enter the next simulation, which is we're going to a horde of zombies down a hallway. I prepped up something special. A dog's with me. Zombie number 1. Die. Another one. Attacking. And dead. Another one. Ignore the fatal cow on the side. Oh. Double check. No cow. There we go. There's a zombie somewhere. Where is it? Through the door. I'm dying. Ooh, poking like crazy. Time to try to get out. Trying to get me out. Ooh. I think I'm right here. Zombie somewhere. Nope. Another way. Game over. Oh. Die. Oh. And done. And now to verse the most annoying thing in Minecraft-verse, a cave spider. They attack you and poison you, and take you down to 1 hit point while in a poison effect. Charge very close to them and start spamming their key. Dog did a trick, and that's great. Let's refill quickly, and grab the rest of the remaining spider and refill. Remember, spam your key before you start attacking. The more you spam while the macro souping, you'll be able to kill them more consecutively. And done. Points collected. Refill. And done. And now for the non-cheating part of how to verse a player. I've made some blocks with some player heads to represent what I call a player. Notice the worst thing you should do is to verse a frontal attack against a player. Always go left or right, known as strafing, when you're going to attack a player. Preferably, always attack for the back. If possible, do a run, jump, and do a slash attack. Next, to teach you the worst position to be under, which is called flanking, or to be pronged. When in between between the attack range of 3 individuals, such as in this formation, it's the worst formation. You don't want to attack them one at a time. What you really want to do is to concentrate your attack on one player at a time. Now, always go back to the side if you're attacking one player again, as I told you before. Or when there's a raid, or when there's a gauntlet, always try to keep moving. Don't try to attack them and try to get to the backside of the main player. Now, if you get into a wall formation of players, you cannot generally defeat them. They generally got the upper hand and should always aim for the backside of one individual. Don't try to attack them one at a time. If they've got the higher terrain, you probably try to climb as quick as possible, but preferably to try to get out of the headshots of being in range for their critical damage. Attack them again from the sides or their blind spots, but preferably always in the backside. Now, there's also a debate whether or not you should perform a running jump when you're trying to attack someone. If you do perform it, notice that you might cause knockback. And now we will learn how to install the fast drop Macro Autosoup. Now, fast dropping is a second gen of type of Autosoup that requires you to drop the bowls onto the ground. By doing so, you greatly improve your chance of refilling much more quicker than, say, grabbing all the bowls into one location and stacking. Now we go to the link, as we did before in the YouTube link. We go to the media file, the uploader, download the file. The file comes in the form of a RAR file or zip. Here's one as unfolded as example, and we extract, and we double click to activate the program. Next, we go back to the Minecraft game, go to multiplayer, go to whatever PvP server that has the Autosoup that you have, load it, and your fast drop macro should be activated right now. Fast dropping is very important in terms of Minecraft playing. This is why, when we're playing, it's always important to make sure that you know where the stacks of bowls are in your inventory, while making sure you have an entire row of hotkey soup. Now, I've created a cactus as an example of incurring damage while being flanked. Notice, while carrying iron armor, it doesn't do much damage. So the logical conclusion is to remove your iron armor to get some real life responses to normal damage. Now let's try this prong attack again. Much more significant damage than before, as you can see. Then we stop, and we macro soup of dropping. With the fast dropping that you execute, notice that some of the soup does not get consumed when you're hotkeying. We refill, and notice that all the bowls have been collected back into a stack. That can be advantageous quite significantly. Now let's try again on the frontal attack, gaining significant damage. You want to quickly macro soup while fast dropping and recollecting as much as possible. This next simulation will show you how a kit might work, while also it might show you how the drop glitch sword might work as well. Notice that when you macro soup, it refills quite quickly when you don't heal, and you might lose some of the soup. Time to show you what a kangaroo kit might look like in combat. Jump, supreme jump, and start hurt. This is when you start macro souping with some fast dropping. And or heal. You lost some bowls, which might clog in the vicinity of the player. Let's refill some soup. And let's try this again. Only to get supremely pronged by all the 3 players. Notice quickly how we have incurred the drop sword glitch. To repair it, we have to go back to press the E button and find the inventory. Lucky for me, I can reset it back to an original kit. in this case the kangaroo kit. And voila, we're back to normal. We're incurring damage again, and we can perform the normal macro soup, or, and there we go again, we lost the sword again. This occurs because of either lag, but in this particular case it's because we scrolled the mouse key. Reset again with kit selection, in this case the PvP kit, and notice the little damage again because of the iron armor that we have equipped to ourselves. To get a true representation of how much damage we're getting, remove the iron armor kit, and back to the gauntlet attack of multiple players. We do several hit and run strategies while also macro souping, while getting to the furthest player on the backside before we do some fighting damage. Switch this out with stacking and refill, and done. Now when we're going against the wall, it's very important to stay away from all the players until we can get the backside. While that's happening, you no doubt incur damage from other players. Okay, that sums up the game, and I've taught you how to do the first part of how to macro soup. Thank you for watching. Enjoy.